Hello everyone, and welcome to another day of the StarCastTV Star League. This time around, it is Group F, and I've had my eyes set on this group for a while, not only because we have Royal, who's, Fantasy 2.0, but also look at that other Terran player we've got in the group. We've got Scan, and I'm pretty sure everybody loves Scan. Scan's been very helpful, in the foreign scene, helping out with Artosis going to his stream. He's been helpful for me while I was in Korea. He co-casted with me during ASL. If you guys watch StarCastTV, which you are right now, you know that he's been making a lot of videos for StarCastTV. So big shout out to Scan, and I'm looking forward to see him play today. But as far as the other races go, we've got two other players too. We've got Saber. Now, I do know this name. I do not know how he plays. I don't even know if he really trains, but I do recognize Saber because back in the old days, I remember this guy being like 12 years old when I was playing in ByClan. He was like 8 years younger than me. I was around like 20 or so. This guy's like a younger type of player. He was Saber Arc, Saber Name. Arc and Name are pretty much the same thing, or used to be the same thing. So I'm curious to see his level of play. I know I've watched him play versus Crossy on stream a couple of times. So I'm feeling like this is going to most likely be a tough group for him, but definitely has the potential to do well. Then of course we've got Ruin. Ruin had his big run in the team league. I think in the finals he got like a 3-kill or something, so this guy's definitely very, very good. But after that, I don't remember seeing Ruin in ASL. I don't know if he tried to qualify or not. I actually yesterday did see him play in a pro league, but other than that, I don't really know of his current level. I know he kind of innovated like the Nexus First Forge expand in Protoss versus Terran, so curious how he'll face off versus these two Terran players. So let's get into, and of course Cruiser was letting me know that actually we're going to be skipping the first game because actually Saber showed up late for his match versus Royal, which means Royal will immediately advance into the winner's match. However, Saber did show up for the remaining games, so he will be playing from the loser's bracket, so that's going to be really tough for him to just automatically be down there. But let's get a look at the round of 32 groups, the remaining ones that we have. I think we've got two more after that. It's going to be Group G and Group H. Oh, looks like Cruiser must have stepped away for a moment, but like I was saying with Ruin, there we go. Group G and Group H is remaining. We've got Best, Jider, Ample, and Yoon in that group. Again, it's going to be a tough group, I think, for Jider and Yoon. I think Ample and Best are the standouts there. Of course, the overall standout is Best. And then in Group H, this is an insane group. Mini, 815, Mong, and Noob. You would look at this group and say, well, Mini for sure, but 815 every time he plays, he's dangerous, dude. He'll 4-pool you. Mong, he's got some crazy TVP. And sometimes Mini can be vulnerable to players like Mong and Noob. And Noob's very solid. I know he's been playing quite a lot these days. However, he's also been playing quite a lot of League of Legends. And, well, we had a certain player in ASL make a League of Legends run while he was playing. And, well, it didn't work out very well for him. So I still think Mini's going to make it out of that group. But you never know with players like him and 815 mixed in. So we're going to look at today's matchup. As I stated, Saber versus Royal, we are going to be skipping that because Saber did not show up. So it's going to be automatically Royal into the winner's match. So that means that we're going to be starting off with Ruin versus Scan. And I feel like this should be a really, really close matchup. I really do feel like both players, these two in particular, should be very close in skill. And I wonder if Ruin has got anything other than that Forge expansion innovation up his sleeve. So with that said, let's get into game one between Scan and Ruin. And in the top left, we do have our Protoss. It is Ruin. And in the bottom right, we do have the one and only. It is Scan. So retro here. I mentioned, let's get into game one, but I did just remember now that the first couple games, well, actually in this particular group, the first game is going to be best of 1, and then we've got best of 3 the rest of the way. It's the same setup as ASL round of 24. Now retro, I'm pretty sure I've said this before, I really do think retro is a good Terran map, but I think I remember seeing statistics where it was kind of a more normal-ish PvT map. Generally I think PvT has been, like 52% or something for Protoss. And I think retro is pretty much the same thing, but I really do like retro because it's easy to get to third base. I think the bridges, the tiny ramps, make it really good for Terran defensively. Doesn't have to worry about, 12 base Protoss like Vermeer. They're limited to, I guess, technically getting only maybe maximum of 8 bases, which is still a lot, but, they're not sitting there with a 30k bank, potentially. Now, what is the gas timing going to be for Scan? With all the mineral boosting that's been going on at the top level, we're going to see an 11 gas. I think we're going to see an 11 gas. Did he queue up an additional SCV? It looks like, actually, maybe he did queue up an additional SCV because of how fast I saw that number shoot up to 12. But that is a pretty damn fast factory if it is, or fast gas if it is a 12 gas. Now, interesting scout pattern from Protoss. I've been seeing this, maybe for about a year now. Cross spawn or cross scouting from Protoss. Find Scan first in the first position. I have a theory about this, but I'm not a Protoss, so can't confirm it exactly. But what I think they do is I think they queue the Zealot. If they see your cross spawn, they cancel it. And if they know that you're not cross spawn, you're obviously close, and they just go into the normal Zealot harassment. Now this probe, remember that was a 136 gas, and yet Scan does not get down his factory really that quickly. 230 factory, not a huge deal, but that probe definitely did work right there. Got some good intel. Delayed the factory about 5 seconds. And Ruin should be feeling pretty good about that. Of course, he doesn't know that that's what happened, but when he watches the replay, for sure he'll be feeling great about that stalling of the factory. Now, how many Marines is it going to be? There was a meta where Terrans were going 2 Marines, bunker, expand. Nowadays, Terrans almost exclusively go 3 Marines, expand, no bunker. So far, we're only seeing 2, though, and Ruin has gone for straight Nexus off of no range. I guess also knowing that it is cross spawn, it allows him to skip range. The likelihood of him being busted off of an opener like this with cross spawns is extremely low, especially since he's pushed the SCV back. So Scan in the dark. I still think he's only sitting on 2 Marines, so that's going to allow him to get into his command center slightly quicker. I think that's a Vulture. Yeah, Vulture comes out. This is just the standard opener. 2 Marines or 3 Marines. Straight Vulture. He is going to be building a 3rd Marine now, so a little bit of an optimization here. Get the command center down slightly quicker. Does make him more vulnerable, to goon pressure like this, but 3rd Marine should be in time. Bunker coming down at the same time. The Marine is going to be slightly late, so actually I think the goon, he can win this battle if he really commits to it. A good micro there from Scan. Ends up losing 1, but saves the other Marine. And in Ruin's base, robotics about basically done. This looks like it was kind of a normal timing, maybe like 350-ish. Generally around 4 minutes is the normal go-to timing. Now that SCV, this does look like it could be a starport follow-up. It's in a position where if there was a starport here, the dropship can go directly towards the main, at a good angle. This really does signal to me that this could be some dropship play, but it is a tank opener. Now all of a sudden I'm not too sure if this will actually be a dropship. The Vulture, he needs to run. You know, it doesn't sound like a big loss to lose your first vulture, but you know, you really do want to be able to get down a couple of mines, even if they're just in any random spot. At least it gives you vision onto those spots. Doesn't necessarily matter exactly where they are. And Scan, I guess he's not going to put down a starport. In fact, it does seem like it's a second factory in his main. I'm gonna guess that there's no armory, because I feel like it would be hard to afford 2 fact plus armory this quickly. But I could be wrong. And what is Ruin up to? I saw second gate go down. I didn't actually catch the tech from... Oh, a 3 fact. Now, we've seen this a couple times in ASL. I don't think I've really seen any replays of this. I don't think I've seen it been done in Pro League. I'm going to assume this is for a timing. I mean, that just makes sense, right? But what is it looking to punish? I'm not exactly sure. Just off the top of my head, what I'm thinking is if it ends up being a Reaver, you've got more factories than, you know, the normal 2-fact push, and that lets you commit a little bit harder, and maybe you go for a base trade scenario. That's kind of the only thing I'm thinking here, is he's looking for a base trade. And Ruin, he is going to respond with third Nexus off of, it was straight Reaver, by the way. There's an observatory at the natural, but it was immediate Reaver from him. And that is an extremely late eBay. This is like a 6:15 eBay. There's no way that turrets will be in time, and Terran is on the move. And this is kind of what I was imagining. We're going to get into basically a base trade scenario, but I feel like Ruin's across the map a little bit faster than Scan. If Scan wants to get into a base trade type of position, he needs to be there ASAP. He's got Spider Mine set up in the main. That is pretty much the go-to style these days. You got to leave a couple of mines defensively like this. Maybe you can get lucky and trigger a mine hit like that. And that means that that Reaver is extremely softened up now. He's got a couple of Ultras, which don't do the most damage versus Reavers, but hey, they deal some. And if he unloads there, he's going to lose his Reaver, and he loses it immediately. And now what can he do? He spent 400 minerals on a third Nexus, and hello, tanks are already here, sieging up. The pylon wall is not going to help. It's just going to delay the inevitable, I think, which is this natural is going to get busted. Ruin has 2 gates, but he has no Reaver. I don't think he has any Zealots. The shuttle is all the way across the map. He's going to lose his observatory. He's going to be supply blocked in a moment. This is a really strong timing from Scan. And this is kind of what I was talking about. The base trade scenario for Scan, you know, didn't really exactly end up in a base trade for Protoss because, well, the Reaver died immediately. But how do you bust out of this? If there's an SCV here that builds a bunker, I don't think there's any way you get out. And there they are. Turret comes up. I would love the bunker. Okay, there it is. Bunker. It is so strong in moves like this. Okay, can he get a critical mine hit? The answer is no. Reaver unloads. Pops the Marines, but hey, the Marines aren't the heavy hitters here. It's the tanks. And this is looking like it could be a solid Game 1 win for Scan, which will push him immediately into the winner's match. Damn. It's just that easy. You just completely ignore DT, you go straight factory, and you hit Protoss with a timing while they're across the map with a shuttle. I have to write this one down for my ladder adventures. Well, Ruin... can't hold it. The second Reaver died. And with the second Reaver dying, and with, I think, only 4 gate production in this main, that is going to be it. GG comes out, and that with a sick timing from Scan. Like I had said, I had seen this a couple times in ASL, but other than that, you know, I wasn't too knowledgeable on the actual, you know, idea behind it, but it looked like it unfolded as I imagined. You get across the map with an amazing amount of units, versus a Reaver who's going to be kind of locked up dealing with mines defensively and turrets. That allows you to go for potentially a killing blow, and that's exactly what we saw there. So well done from Scan. He will be now facing off versus Royal, and this is going to be a really tough matchup, even though, you know, I was going to say, even though I don't think I don't think Royal is as scary as Sock, because Sock is just a killer in TVT. One thing that does make Royal dangerous in all of his matchups is you cannot read this guy at all. He does some of the craziest stuff on the planet. He can play normal, then all of a sudden you're facing like a 14cc, and behind it he's going like double starport, triple starport, mass wraith. Maybe he opens normally and hits you with like a tank Goliath as opposed to standard vulture play. Really, really hard to read. So let's get into game one between these two. This time around it will be a best of 3, and our first map is going to be Dark Origin. Okay, in the top left, our blue Terran. It is Scan. And in the bottom right, we do have our purple Terran. It is Royal. Now, my experience watching these pros and, playing, of course, Terran on the ladder. For whatever reason, I don't think like 8 racks has been a thing for a while now. I feel like in the past, 8 racks, even 6 racks, you would see it a decent amount. Not as often in Terran versus Zerg, of course, but at least it was like a valid strategy. But these days, I can't even tell you the last time I've hit an 8 racks. That's how long it's been. And it's been a really long time, I feel, since I've seen an 8 racks at pro level. And I think if there was anyone that was going to pull it out, it would definitely have been Royal, especially with it being a 2-player map. So no surprise to me that it ends up not being an 8 racks here. We are just going to see standard depot. Now, I guess if you are going to do some type of proxy, that's at least on the menu. You can go for a proxy 10 racks and 11 racks. Pressure their natural, force them to build additional Marines. But we're not seeing that from either side. Now, I was kind of alluding to the power of boosting in the previous game. And it's definitely very, very strong in Terran versus Protoss. And one of the reasons that makes it so strong is you get out your Vulture slightly quicker. And if you're facing a 12 Nexus, you can kill some probes because of how fast your Vulture is. Terran versus Terran, I've experimented with it quite a bit. I haven't really found any advantage to it, other than, of course, your Vulture gets out faster, so it helps defend incoming Vulture attacks. But other than that, the 2 or 3 second benefit that you get, for me, it hasn't really created any type of opportunity for attacking. So no surprise to see a 12 gas from both sides this time. It really did look like it was slightly faster than I was used to. I guess because of the boosting. But Royal, when's that factory coming down? Remember, Scan had a 230 factory. And you can see it's about 226 for Royal here. So about 4 seconds faster than last time. Now, pulling off completely from Gas's Scan. And now this I can get behind. I feel like this really does benefit you, especially if you just stay on 1 Marine. You can get down your command center really, really quick. But it is going to be the safe version of TVT right now. 2 Marines seems to be like the go-to move. Why exactly? Well, there can be several reasons, of course. If you're getting all in, you want to be able to pump a couple of put a couple of Marines into that bunker. Vulture's not going to be scared of a single Marine in the bunker. I don't think anything is scared of a single Marine in the bunker. So that's one thing. 2, if you end up going straight tank, and the guy goes Vulture and goes for your natural, well, your SCV is most likely going to die, and your Marine's most likely going to die. And it's going to be hard to hold the ramp with just that also. So getting 2 Marines out also allows you to hold the ramp and be able to get your tank out on time. But we're not seeing an add-on from either side. We're seeing straight Marine, straight Vulture. Of course, the Marines help deal damage to the racks also. So that's another thing. You know, there's just all types of benefits to be building Marines in this particular matchup, building 2 Marines at least. And how many Vultures is it going to be? We see a second factory already on the way for both sides. And no add-on just yet for either player. Okay, this can be dangerous. That was a very far forward Vulture. Almost got intercepted on the ramp. Ooh, how are those not firing for Scan? I thought for sure that his vulture was going to fire and get some damage done. Now this will be annoying. The depot really does mess up the SimCity. I love this placement from Scan. Now Scan may be wondering, like, dude, why are you attacking so quick? Did you two-fact me? He already got off the first hit. It does not trigger him to commit because I think he's hesitant about what this actually is. This was really dangerous from Royal to push out like this. He also, I don't think, knew that this was a two-fact. Maybe I'm forgetting how the SCVs ended up scouting, but if this was like a two-fact from Scan and he committed that hard, well, 100% all of his Marines are dead and may have actually lost a couple of vultures. We've got an add-on coming down for Scan now, but you can see the add-on's already done for Royal. That's what this pressure got him, is it got him the faster add-on. Scan respected this. This could have been an all-in. Played defensively, built an additional vulture. Now this means if Royal goes straight mines, he'll be able to get some good map intel, you know, place them everywhere. Of course, be able to get back into position before speed kicks in for Scan, if that's what he's going for. And so far, this looks like a slight lead for Royal. You know, you look at the workers, they're pretty much dead even. You look at supplies, they're exactly dead even. But I think in terms of pace of build orders, I think Royal's slightly ahead, even though the builds are pretty much mirrored. Now this is the tricky point in the game, at least for me, in Terran versus Terran, which is, when do you start building tanks? Do you build any tanks? Do you mix in a fourth factory? Do you mix in a starport? What's the play? Now actually it ends up being speed for Royal, and look how fast he is across the bridges, and he knows that these are isolated vultures, and Scan his tanks out of position. So are these two vultures in the back. Royal has enough vultures to almost one-shot these vultures himself. However, that tank is doing a lot of DPS, but it doesn't dissuade Royal from attacking these vultures. He's going to trade all of his vultures to get all the vultures from Scan. I feel like that was an evenish trade, but maybe Scan may have lost a couple additional vultures. Either way, supplies pretty much get reset back down to even. You know, it's 54 to 50. But even though you have a tank as Scan, you can't really move across the map because the vultures will immediately counterattack you. You'll lose your entire mineral line. Also, spider mine should be on the way pretty soon. It's a really tough situation to be in as Scan because you have this powerful tank, you want to use it, but you can't use it. Now he's going to move it. Oh no, this is not the timing. No, with all the vultures out of position, he's going to lose his... Wow. Those vultures, what were they doing? They're like, you're on your own, tank. Good luck. And I've had that happen so many times, including the vultures moving over to the left side just out of whack with the tank. It's like, dude, you knew I was sending. Why did you go over there? We're going to have another vulture battle, but I actually think Royal's going to win this fight also. And this is all going down. Well, okay, actually Scan end up overwhelmingly winning that fight. And I was going to say, this game's already going down the drain for Royal, but this is one of the things that I was talking about is, you know, maybe this was a tank cycle for Royal and he caught him. And now there's 8 vultures here versus just 6. A little bit of lost DPS there laying the mines, but he's racking up some critical SCV kills. He needed these because he's down 7 workers. He's got to get some damage done. Even though he doesn't kill that many, at least forces them off the mineral line. That's great. He has more vultures routing across the map. I think it's 4-fact versus 4-fact. Yeah. Did Scan do it here? SCV's completely being pulled. Okay, Goliaths are coming out to save the day. And with the Goliaths here, ooh, mine connection almost connects. But either way, Scan has done a lot of damage. This is a ton of damage. Almost evens up the worker count. Look at it, 35 to 37. Forces out comset scanners from Royal. If Scan had his own comsets, I think he could scan those bridges, get across, and actually end the game if he had gone tank as a follow-up. But critically, Royal holds this, and look at the supply lead for Scan now. It's 71. Damn. So many vultures, but vultures can be deceiving. You know, they're very powerful when they have critical mass numbers like this, but Goliaths are insanely strong too. And I think this could be an overstep. The Goliaths are just so tanky. That's the problem. The vulture DPS is not the greatest versus them, but Scan, he's trying. Looks like just barely. Royal is going to hold on here. Now, that was a massive loss for Scan. He did lose a ton of vultures going for that trade. I'm not sure if this was 4-fact or 5-fact from him, because I do see what looks like a 5th factory in his main. Yeah, that is a 5th fact. I was wondering how he had so many vultures. I was like, dude, I know Royal Rush 4-fact pretty fast, and you're overwhelming him. And that's why an immediate 5-fact from him almost ends the game in his favor. But now, how's he going to transition? Okay, that was a big mine connection. He needs to get some more add-ons on. Okay, I do see he has 2 add-ons, but he needs to start ramping up that tank count. Like I was saying, Royal already has scans, so he can start clearing out the minefields pretty easily. With so many vultures out in the field, of course, it's going to be hard to find all of them. But I do like Royal's comp more than I do like scans. It is also Dark Origin, so it's like really important to make sure you don't lose the bridges. So either side needs to start making a move pretty soon. Of course, I'm not going to hold my favoritism in this particular matchup. I'm rooting for Scan here. I hope he gets across the bridges here and can set up a massive contain versus Royal. But Royal's on the move here. Another mine connection does some damage to these tanks. And slowly but surely, Royal is clearing out these mines. But this does give Scan opportunity to start clearing out the mines himself on his side of the map. He's still got scans outside of the bridges. I think he can get across the map before Royal gets out. And of course, as I say that, Royal gets out. As soon as I say that, that means he is not going to get contained. And at this point, even though I haven't seen Scan's army, you got to imagine the tank count must be higher for Royal. It's only 3 versus 6. That is a big shot. He's going to take down one of the tanks immediately. And Royal, he's going to be pushed back because he doesn't have any vision. This Rax gives great sight. Look at this. Scan immediately repositioned. You should be able to pick off that bottom tank. Those 2 tanks are slightly out of position. He's trying to use sight to his advantage, and he may be able to get these 2. There we go. There's one. Can he move in here? There's really not that much defense here for Royal. If he had moved in immediately with those tanks, maybe he could have gotten it. But either way, 2 tanks for 1. Both players going for command center. Supplies are still dead even, 95 to 94. Slight worker lead, you know, basically negligible at this point. Of course, I see additional buildings going down for Royal. I'm going to guess one of those is Starport, but I'm not sure exactly. Wraith Switch could be amazing, because I don't remember seeing Scan build a single Goliath just yet. Oh, the Vultures run in, and that was a great trade for Royal right there. Still trying to use the vision to his advantage. He gets 1 tank, 2 tanks. Okay, he's going to trade 2 for 2. And that was a good trade overall for Royal. Still a very even game. There's the 2 Goliaths for Scan, actually, so a Race Switch would not work. What was that? Triple add-on for Scan? Okay, that was a starport, but it's not for Race. It's going to be for dropships. And right now, unless I read that incorrectly, it looks like this is 6 factory for Scan versus just 4 for Royal. So there's a pretty big production gap right now. Also, dropships, you know, even though I'm a big fan of dropships in this matchup can be quite expensive. They're basically like a tank because they're 100 gas. And he needs to get some damage done with this. He's going directly towards the natural and there is no defense. I feel like Scan probably used all of his scans for that tank push, or like, you know, trying to bully those tanks down in the center of the map, and probably hasn't scanned the main at all of Royal because he did not see this coming. And he takes a decent amount of damage. But despite the damage, worker count's still in favor of Scan, just slightly. I did see the science facility for Royal though. So far, I'm not sure if I've seen that for Scan just yet. I'm going to imagine those buildings are at the bottom, or the science facility's at the bottom. But while this drop is happening, drawing units out of position, Royal is on the move. He finds another tank, and now it's starting to look like he's in the danger zone. The Vulture drop in the main, tank is going to, you know, deal with it a little bit, but it got a couple of kills. But the problem for Scan now is he has to deal with these drops while also managing the mid. And Royal's just being a nuisance with these drops, alleviating or getting rid of a lot of the defense in the center. And this allows Royal to take his 4th base. He's got good positioning now. He's at least started to split it and get control over the top right side also. And with all this okay, wow, it's a 6-fact with double starport. Now remember, there was a dropship, and I think the dropship flew over both starports. Royal's gonna know, hey, this guy's spending a lot of gas on factories and race. Can he support all that? Scan is gonna try and make a move here. The vessel is out, but there's no D-matrix. But the tank count, okay, catches 2 more tanks on the bridge, and that was a really, really big win for Scan. Now he's got control over his side of the 4th base. Another engagement right here. Okay, there we go. Royal, he's going to knock down some tanks himself. Damn, a real slugfest here. Is there enough Goliaths to deal with these 5? Yeah, there's definitely going to be enough to deal with these 5 race. Like I said, Royal saw the double starport. That's a big loss for Scan. Like, if he had hid them at top middle, for example, like behind the natural, where they couldn't have been spotted, maybe he could have caught Royal off guard. But now he's on double starport. The race didn't really do much. It cuts into his tank count. And he's going to be slightly behind tempo right now. But he does have that one bridge pretty much cornered off. Like, you're not getting out of that bridge as Royal. Like, that's just not going to happen. What Royal needs to do, I think, is use this D-Matrix to get some control. But Scan's the one actually pushing this back. Scan actually is so close to the bridge, the Royal's under threat of losing it. Like, losing it completely. There were so many race there. Critically, Royal got enough in time to help support those tanks to cover the rest of the bridges. Because if Scan was able to get that, all of a sudden, you're never getting out of your base unless you're going for drops. And Scan's going for another push here. Scan is playing amazing right now. He's killed so many tanks. He's slowly creeping towards that 4th base. That tank at the bottom, I think, is going to fall. Turret's going to fall. There's not that many Goliaths here. I guess there are. Okay, well, I guess there's a decent amount. There's 3 on the left side, right side, I mean. Scan really bringing it this game. This is such a close game. 4th base going up for Scan. He's getting dropships himself. I didn't consider that. With double starport, he can start ramping up the dropship potential really quick also. Now, a big engagement here. I feel like this is desperation from Royal. He's got to get through, and he easily plowed through this, and he needed that because Scan was doing work at the top side. Now Royal has easily pushed through this. He's alleviated the pressure at the bridges. Now he's going to shut down this 4th base. Now, meanwhile, Scan, yes, he can push towards the 4th base, but I don't think he's got nearly the amount of pressure that Royal does. This is a forced liftoff. And Scan, what are you going to do now? Are you going to counter this 4th base? He needs to knock this down, but he also is under threat of losing his 3rd base. This vessel may have enough energy for another D-Matrix. Remember, also Scan has dropships. I don't think he's used them just yet. Maybe he needs to go for like a killing blow because now he's down a considerable amount of supply. He's down 30 supply. Maybe he can't just take down the 4th base. Or maybe he needs to doom drop the 4th base so he can start killing top right and get that up and running. Royal now is kind of getting out of control. Oh, okay, I thought that was a command center at bottom left, but it is not. It's 8-fact production for Royal. Just incredible production capabilities. And Scan's going to go for it. I don't know about this. There's a lot of tanks on the low ground that are going to help out. Mine connection does hit. There we go. And this 4th base under threat. But these tanks on the low ground are doing such good damage. Now, okay, straight through the center is Royal. He sees that there is nothing here, absolutely nothing. The vessel, it's actually kind of important here. Does lose it though. D-Matrix would be amazing. There would be no way for Scan to counter it, but Royal has gotten position on the bridges, and this is exactly what you want in this matchup. You've denied the mid-left. You're losing mid-right. In fact, it ends up dying. But Scan can't get across anymore. Like, except for the top bridge. Like, the other two, definitely not making out. And what is Scan going to do? Is he getting desperate? He's going to mine out this back mineral patch. Try and float over to mid-right. Scan has a lot of drops. He's got 4 drops. Loading them all up. And I see movement towards the left side. I'm going to imagine those are drops for Royal himself. He's going to carpet bomb these tanks. Triggers the mines. Oh, man, just slightly out of position is Scan. He's on low ground now. He needs to pull the boys. This is so many tanks for Royal. Has he done it here? This looks like a an attack that can't really be stopped. I feel like there's just too much out of position for Scan on the right side. The majority of his army is denying the 4th base. How can he ever get over here and deny mid-left? Triple's dropship is getting into position, but he's lost so much here. Despite losing so many SCVs, he's still up SCVs, which is crazy to me. Here we go. The boys are finally being pulled. The drops are going to try and unload. Big shots. Big shots from Royal. Also, the spider mines do not connect. And with reinforcements coming in, Royal is going to solidify this position. And supplies have now plummeted for Scan. It was pretty close a moment ago. Now it's 153 to 116. This tank on the high ground is still doing so much work. More tanks getting into position. And this just doesn't look like it can be held. If he could somehow get those units from the right side over to the left side, I think he could do it. But it's 5 tanks on high ground. Now he's trying to carpet bomb the tanks with the SCVs. Meanwhile, bottom left is up and running for Royal. Scan is getting his base up and running at top right. He's transferred some SCVs over there. But he is pretty much not mining at this point. His natural's mined out. His 3rd base is under threat. And these SCV drops are really good. Look at this. Royal closing in. He's going through the bridge now. And if you can get these tanks into position, it doesn't look like Scan has any more tanks left, except for that one. There is GG. What a game! That was incredibly close from both sides. I really did think that once Scan got the bridge at the bottom left, that this was it. I thought he was going to split it in his favor. I thought he was going to prevent reinforcements. But unfortunately, the race, what did he build, like 7 to 9 race? They just didn't get like any damage done. I didn't see a single thing that it killed. In fact, I don't even remember seeing the race during any of the battles at the 4th base. I don't remember seeing the race at all during that final drop play at the left side. Curious what happened to them, because if he had drops there, he could have definitely cleaned up the 3rd base pretty easily. But maybe they died while defending the 4th base. I'm not sure exactly. Either way, Royal takes game 1, but it was very close, and I think Scan for sure can strike back in game 2. So let's get into our next map, which is going to be Apocalypse. So in the bottom left, we do have our green Terran. It is Scan. And in the bottom right, our blue Terran up 1-0. It is Royal. And really good macro from Royal. He took so much damage in the early stages. He was up workers, to be fair. He's up a lot of workers, but he took a lot of damage. Didn't have good control over the center of the map. Able to recover, got his tanks into position, did good clearing of the mines. Also, I think he lost his racks, if I remember correctly. And despite not having vision in the center of the map, didn't lose that many tanks to Scan's tanks with vision advantage. That was really well done. And of course, taking all those bases as fast as he did was really, really good. Now we've got Apocalypse here. And everybody knows Apocalypse has huge mains. You would think this would be a good map for drops. And I think, once again, Scan is in a good position because he's gotten mid-left. He's going to have direct pathway into the main into Royal's base. And like I was saying, 8 racks, 6 racks, not really a thing. But proxy racks on a 10 or 11 definitely is feasible, and that's exactly what we're seeing from Royal here. This should be only 2 Marines, but I could see Royal putting a twist on it and building 3. And look at this. This build is going to be great for Royal because it ends up being a 14 CC for Scan. Not like this, man. Not like this. He thinks it's going to be a normal opener, and of course the one time Royal gets crazy, this is going to be an immediate counter to Scan's build. Now with it being an 11 racks, can this be held? I'm going to venture a guess that it maybe can, but he's still going to take a lot of losses here. It is imperative that he kills the first 2 Marines immediately. If he can do that, Scan definitely has a chance. But if those bad boys survive with even 5 HP, Scan is in a world of hurt. He also has his racks at the wall. If that SCV gets denied building the racks, it's probably going to be lights out. Also, it makes it harder for the SCVs to get on top of these Marines because the racks is going to be body blocking. And Scan is not happy about this, I can tell you that. Marine already on the way. He knows that it's so fast that it has to be proxied. He doesn't know that it's an 11 racks as opposed to an 8 racks just yet. But this is what I was talking about. SCVs desperately getting into position to try and save this racks. I think it can be held, but he needs an immediate bunker. There it is. I don't think 3 SCVs is enough here. I could be wrong, though. First SCV is gone. Second SCV... Okay, he got one of them. That may be all he really needs. If he can get one of them... Oh, that bunker is not done just yet. Not done just yet. He's going to lose second SCV. Well, both of them are really lucky. Low, I mean. He lost 3 SCVs. He ends up saving or getting the bunker up. He is down 4 workers now. But with his fast command center, I think he can recover this loss. Definitely, I think this is a playable position. For sure. He did take big loss there. But should be able to recover. His factory's coming down. It is still going to be hard to deny a contain, I think. But if anybody can do it, I think Scan could definitely do it. Now he gets into the main, and he sees that it is... Okay, of course, as I say that, second factory comes down. Oh, no, wait, that wasn't Scan's SCV. That's Royal's SCV. I thought that was Scan's SCV that just got in and was going to see that it's only 1 factory. And I was going to say, like, well, now he may be guessing whether it's a starport, 1 fact, 1 starport, or, what is it exactly from Royal. But he ends up losing his SCV. Now he has no idea what this is. And at this point, what can you do as Scan? This is a really hard situation because the rack sees everything. I think if this was, not a proxy and that the racks couldn't get into the main as fast as it could, this could have been a double starport follow-up. But with the racks being able to spot that immediately, if Terran just goes for Goliath, tank Goliath, and just goes to contain you, you're just super dead. Like, you're never breaking out of the contain. You still are going to have the racks to support, and Goliath just immediately blow up race, especially with the range upgrade. I think this is a smart move from Scan. He's going to go into 3-fact vultures and just try and overrun Royal here. And in response, Royal sees it. He's going to go 3-fact himself. I think he was also maybe anticipating that this could be Wraith, which is why you saw him go 2-fact with an add-on. Get tank Goliath, or at least get tanks and then have an armory building in case you need it. But I take that back because there's definitely no armory in his main. And the way that SE was positioned, yeah, it's going to be a 4-fact. He's saying, oh, you want to go 3-fact vulture? Yeah, that's cute, man. I'm going to go 4-fact vulture, and we're going to say good luck to you because you're going to need it. Scan in response is going to go 4-fact himself. And once again, we have a discrepancy in SCVs. This time it's going to be Scan in the lead. I thought Royal would at least keep it even, but now he's behind in workers. He does have more vultures. He does have slightly faster 4th factory, but his 3rd factory is later. I think Scan has already recovered quite well. He doesn't know it just yet because he doesn't know how many SCVs are at the natural. But if he knew the position he's in, where he's up worker slightly, he's got faster tech, I think it'd be okay with his position. Now, one thing that Royal does have going for him is, of course, look at that minefield all across the center. So much detection for him. So much vision everywhere. If a single tank gets caught, that could be all Royal needs to pounce on this army. But I haven't seen a single tank get built from Scan. I think it's going to be like last game, where it's just going to be pure vulture. But as I say that, I see a pesky building at the bottom left of his base, and I think that's a starport. Yep, that is definitely a starport. I can see it just barely. So it is going to be 4-fact, 1 port. We see this from time to time from players trying to mix in a pesky Wraith, catch a the opponent sleeping. Not ever making Goliath. Ooh, this is what the detection gets you. You know that the vultures were out of position. You're gonna move in here. Tank is far enough back that the mines are not gonna connect. And this is what cutting those SCVs got Royal. It got him an overwhelming amount of vultures. He easily wins that battle. And if he can somehow avoid these mines, even though there's only 2, he could definitely set up a massive contain. But there's the raid that I was talking about. And there is no armory completed just yet. It is in production. And Royal's going to have to back off. And that means that he's going to instead build a 3rd base. He's going to really start ramping up his eco. There's just so many mines everywhere. And I love how they're spread all over the spot, all over the place. Really nice spread everywhere. If you're Scan, you can't be feeling good about this. You know, Apocalypse is one of the most punishing maps. If you ever lose control over your 3rd base like this, he's not going to get onto high ground, but he cannot feel confident about this at all. I don't even know if he has scanners. I don't think he does. Oh, man. Royal, he just knows where you are all the time. Oh, you're out of position? Okay, here I come. And I think Royal, once again, maybe he's not going to win this fight, but he's going to trade pretty damn well. Slowly but surely building up that tank count. The Wraith gets a pretty critical kill there. Knocks down the SCV building the command center, and Scan's going to see the bad news that, uh-oh, I haven't even started my command center. And this guy's already got his command center basically done. I've also spent a lot of resources into these Wraiths, which haven't done that much damage. I haven't cleared out any of the mines at all. And Royal, meanwhile, he does have Scan. He's eliminated a couple of the mines, eliminating some more mines. And he will get away with his vultures, or he will get away with some of them. And it looks like we may be going into not necessarily a stalemate. A stalemate's not the word I was going to say, but like a standoff here. We're going to have a standoff. Probably Scan's going to try and hold his high ground 3rd. And Royal, he's just going to control the center. And with it being a 3-player map, of course you're going to like Royal's position better here. He's going to have access to the other main. But with the faster starport, if Scan goes for add-ons and drops, you know, he's going to have pretty direct access into the main. But knowing that, Royal already has a tank and Goliath set up. I think that's very smart. Even if it's just one of each, it buys you a lot of time when you're defending to get your other units into position. Now, that is a cute positioning of the starport in between the Nat and the 3rd base. I wonder if he'll build additional starports there. There we go. Massive engagement going off. It's just vultures, though. I don't think Scan has... Oh, Scan did... Oh, that was a big connection! He hits a lot of the tanks, but doesn't kill any... I was going to say, I don't think Scan got rid of the mines on his high ground, but he did get rid of the mines on his high ground, which means now he can get tanks into position himself and really start solidifying his defensive posture right here. Maybe be able to take a fast 4th base over on the right side or mid-left. Supply still really close. 112 to 108. Again, a bit deceptive because clearly, if there's a fight, Royal's going to win the fight. His tank count is massive in comparison to Scan's. It's like 8 to 3, make that 6 now. 3rd base being landed for Scan. Gonna get that up and running. And this is what we were expecting to see. Royal just control the center. There is no place to attack. Wow, 5 Wraiths. I'm surprised he committed this hard to the Wraith. I thought for sure he would have gone into drops at some point. But instead, he's going to try and make something happen with these 5 Wraiths. There's only 1 Goliath. But Wraiths just don't have the highest DPS. Now, he does have enough where he can start 2-shotting SCVs. That's going to be great. Okay, what I think this is trying to do is it's trying to draw units out of the center so he can bust it. So Royal needs to manage his defense here very well. I heard Goliath shots going down in the main. It looks like he's done just that. He only pulled back 2 Goliaths. Now these Wraiths, you know, they did do some damage. But overall, was it worth The 150 minerals and 500 gas plus cloak? I don't know. I'm not too sure. Of course, the race will be valuable in the late game also. Scan has a lot of factories. And again, double starport, double add-on. He's going to be going into drops once again. And Scan is taking a 4th base. So despite Royal having a faster 3rd, he's going to be late on the gun with his 4th. He just still has control over the center, though. And that means he has control over the high ground here. Tanks are going to siege up. I don't think Scan can win this fight. But the first volley goes in his favor. He's going to pop 2 tanks. Can he get a 3rd one? Gets a 3rd one. Okay, he opened up a hole on the left side. That's really good. And these Wraiths, even though they've been bruised a little bit, if he can get over towards the right side, try and deny that 4th command center, that would be great. That'd be really good. However, I think there may be a turret up there, so he does need to be careful. Do not want to lose your 5 Wraiths to a single turret. That would be very sad. There is the 4th command center for Royal. 6 Wraiths up at top left. So actually he built additional Wraiths. Very interesting. Gan has his 4th base completed, by the way. Like, it's just actually done. He's already transferred over there. He needs to clear out these tanks on the left side. He's got to clear out the tanks on the left side. If he can clear out the tanks on the left side, get that high ground, maybe he can get that top middle base. But even if he doesn't get it, he can at least get one of the bases and try and put pressure up there, right? Like, that's the key thing, is if you can't get it, at least pressure one of them and, you know, maybe take the top left corner instead. Instead, Scan's making a move here. I don't know about this. This is just such a hard position to bust. Oh, but if he can get into a position here where if he has drops, you know, he could use this as a stepping stone to drop into the main. But this, I think, is an overstep. I think with D-Matrix, he could easily clean this up. Tank does fall. No, it's not a big loss overall. It does draw units out of position again. And I think if Scan can jump on the army at mid-left, that could be fantastic. But instead, Royal's on the move here. And Scan, what's he going to do? I see the race moving on the left side. There's the D-Matrix that goes off. There's the drops. And it looks like both sides are just going to hold here. Really wish we could get a look at that left side high ground. Because if there were no Goliaths there, I think that was the time to take advantage of it, knock down those tanks, and try and start securing the left side. You know, try and start splitting it in your favor. Instead, Wraiths are going to move over here. Maybe there's no Goliaths. He's going to snipe that vessel, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, got the vessel. Oh, he's got 4 dropships, 4 Wraiths. Is this time? Is it time to unload it in the main? There's a couple mines set up, a couple turrets, not that much defense. Okay, tanks on the high ground. Yeah, there's the Wraith that I was waiting for. He's got vision. Goliath, you gotta push us back. Where are the drops going? Oh, they're going into the main. They're going through the bottom side of the map. Gonna try and just get on top of the depots, I guess. Okay. Alright, this is a lot of tanks. Now, remember, there was a starport in between the natural and 3rd base. I wonder if Royal's been banking up some Wraiths himself. They would be perfect in this situation. Of course, there's still a lot of pressure on the left side. This SCV is clutch right there repairing that tank. And now Royal has control over the left and the right. And he can start really putting some pressure down on this 5th base. He's going to lose a lot of the depots. But critically, he didn't lose any key buildings. I didn't see the armory just die yet. You can see it's still spinning. So I'm going to guess that he didn't lose +2. Well, at this point, I'm going to assume he has +2. But he didn't lose like his armor upgrade, he didn't lose +3. Now I see some movement over on the left side from Scan. He's got drops going over there, I think. Where's he gonna go with this? Is he gonna try and drop on the high ground, try and secure it? Nope, it looks like he's just unloading on the low ground over there. This drop got cleaned up in the main, as expected. And that drop actually ends up cleaning up all this. Now he's got to get onto the high ground immediately. This is his opportunity to get up there. There are no tanks. He's got to get on the high ground right now. Instead, it looks like actually Royal's going to be able to get up into position over there. And also, Royal's counter-dropping the 4th base. There's action all over the place at bottom right. Tanks are over here. Oh, man. There's not a lot of support here. There's, in fact, no support. Where are those raised? Did they end up dying? It would be great right now. He's focusing on the command center. He wants it. Okay, the drops are going to unload. And look at this. This was all a diversion. While this happens, while Scan deals with the drop, everything was sent to top left. And again, this is round 2 or 3 towards top left. Just picking him apart is Royal. He's just so quick. But despite that, look at the supply. It's almost a maxed out Scan versus Royal, who's at just 160. Now, 160 is still really high, but this was much higher supply for Scan than I thought. Scan, I think, just unloaded on top of those tanks that were outside of his 4th base, so he cleans that up. He did lose a lot, though. He lost like 30 supply in that engagement, and Scan still does not have the high ground at mid-left. So the question to me is, at this point, how does Scan get another base? Yes, he's on 5 base versus just 4, but Royal's got a big bank, and I think he's going to be the one that's able to get top middle. That's my issue. Oh man, a massive engagement through the center. Does he have a vessel? I don't think he has a vessel. So there's a almost maxed out Terran army for Scan. He has a lot of drops. Is he going to doom drop the main again? I think actually in the main there's not really that much. Oh my gosh, that is a ton of stuff. There's a lot of tanks on the low ground here. Cleaned up a lot of the turrets. Where's he going? Where's he going? Where is he going? Oh, he's gonna position right here. Wow, that is a ton of tanks. But Royal's got a lot of dropships. I didn't realize he had all this stuff loaded up already. SCV's gonna come support the army. Wow, that did not go according to plan for Scan, and that was a big loss for him, but he finally gets the high ground here. It alleviates a lot of the pressure over there, and I actually thought Scan was in trouble, but with this 5th base econ fully, saturated and running and for like multiple minutes, he's actually continued to be up in supply. He's in a good position now. He's got, that massive tank, not necessarily contained, but sitting on the outskirts there, overlooking Royal's main. Royal's in a really precarious position because he hasn't been able to deny the mid-left. Like, he's put a lot of pressure there, but he's never shut it down. But this is a massive amount of drops, man. I mean, this is, what, 8 dropships, 9 dropships? What Royal is probably looking here for is either carpet bomb the rally point, or either carpet bomb mid-left, or doom drop the main. If there's no defense in the main, as Cruz was pointing out, there's a couple turrets, but there's no mines, there's no tanks, there's no Goliaths. Oh my gosh, where is it going? I see him going directly over this area, but he realized there's no Goliaths here. And Scan has no dropships himself, because remember, he just used them all. This is a massive unload. Scan trying to get back into position. So many tanks. Holy smokes, that is a ton of tanks. Oh, actually, Scan does have his dropships. I thought he lost them during his drop, but he didn't. But how do you engage into this? There's so many tanks. He's leading the charge with an empty dropship. Is there really space for him to unload? Oh my gosh, he's not really able to unload that effectively. Okay, actually, big shot right there. Cleans it up. Maybe cleans it up. No, 4 tanks remain. Oh, a massive unload. So it's going to be a double elevator into the main. And this may be the move that breaks Scan's back. Scan looked really good. I thought Royal was ahead for most of the game, but Scan actually was the one ahead. But with this drop coming in, round 2, there's just way too much stuff in here. There are so many. Okay, a siege goes up, but they immediately die. Man. So close. Despite all these losses, look at Scan's supply. It's still 150 to 150. Crazy macro. But he's going to lose all of his production, and there it is. GG comes out. Damn. I thought Scan was in a good spot with his faster 5th base, starting to finally get that high ground over on the left side, with the tanks on the outskirts of Royal's base. I thought, wow, is this it? Is he really going to outmuscle Royal there? But in the end, Royal a little bit too strong, and that means Royal will be moving out in first place. But what a game from Scan, even though he loses. Remember, he was coming off of a 14cc into an 11 racks that immediately killed 3 SCVs. Really tough position to, just not outright die from. So it was really well done from him. Got into favorable positions. But Royal, he's just too good, man. So let's get into our next match, which now Saber is here. And he's going to be facing off versus Ruin. And remember, Saber forfeited his first game, so this is going to be the loser's match. And it will be best of 3. Alright, spawning in the top left, we do have Saber. And in the bottom right, we do have Ruin. Right, our first game with a Zerg. I was talking about how Ruin was kind of innovating with his Forge expand in Protoss versus Terran. But how's that going to come into play here in PvZ? Is he really going to be a Forge type of player? Or will he mix in a Gateway expand? I think in general, most of the time these days, I see players go for Gateway expand. Because if you let Zerg just get away with doing whatever, it's going to be really rough. I don't really think Dark Origin is a great cannon rushing map either, even though we do see it sometimes. And Ruin is on the prowl with his first... Okay, maybe this will be a cannon rush, because he is already hiding that first probe. Bit of a sneaky move. What's this going to be? If it was going to be for a cannon rush, that probe at the natural would need to come down and put down that forge, but instead it looks like this probe was just trying to avoid the Overlord, trying to act like, hey, I'm not scouting you, so you can go for hatch first. But Saber too good for that. He is going to go for what I think was a 9 pool. Yep, it was definitely a 9 pool. Probe just going to get a little harassment off. There is going to be the forge follow-up. And everything looks kind of normal-ish. I don't feel like I see 9 pool, or haven't seen 9 pool that often. Generally, I feel like I've seen overpool. I wonder what Saber will want to do with this. Is he going to go fast gas as a follow-up? Is he going to double expand as a follow-up? As I was saying, I don't really watch Saber because I don't think he streams that much. And I'm not really familiar with his type of play. Is he like an all-inner? Oh my gosh, this drone doing work here. Got the probe down to really low health. And this probe needs to get the hell out of dodge. Ruin should consider even sending an additional probe, because this is already down to just 10 health. Can easily get sniped by a drone or even Lings. Double cannon as a response from Ruin. Everything looks very normal so far. I'm going to assume that those cannons are going to complete. Yeah, there we go. First. Oh no! He lost his Overlord! And now he's just going to go for it, because he realized he took so much damage that he's got to do something. Okay. At least he got 2 in. If he lost his Overlord and lost all of his Lings, except for maybe 1, this would have been devastating. I mean, it's still devastating, but at least with 2 Lings, oh no. I was going to say, at least with 2 Lings, that's a lot of DPS. You can start racking up probe kills for sure. If Protoss is sleeping at a couple moments, for sure he could have racked up a lot of probe kills. But now, with just 1 Ling, and he gets his 3rd hatch denied, oh no. Saber, I feel like this is already telegraphed as an all-in 3-hatch Hydra play. The hatchery is so off-center, it's going to be almost like not even worth mining that base unless you're only going to have 2 drones there to just mine those 2 patches that are actually not affected. And I'm not even sure if that hatch is off-center enough where a 2nd hatch can fit between it and the gas on the left side. So this is already a disaster for Saber. It does look like actually a hatchery would fit, but I don't see a Hydrogen from him. That drone may have actually been going out to build a hydrogen, but ends up turning around now that the probe got in for additional scouting. In fact, I think 100 gas was spent on something. Not sure if it was speed or lair, but there's no lair in the main, of course. Hopefully there's a lair in the natural. Because I don't think speedling is going to work. I don't see it yet. Okay, it is going to be lair at the natural. It is not going to be a hydrogen. Go for some type of all-in. Unless he can kill his probe, then I could see a world where he cancels and just goes for it. Like double hydrogen, double upgrades, pray for a miracle. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. In Ruin, he's on the move with his 2 zealots. In Ruin's main, I think he has a Stargate coming down. I'm going to imagine he built his cybernetics at his natural. Yeah, Stargate halfway done. And this is just such a funny position to see that this hatch is just not ideal at all. He can't even mine the closest patch. He can't get any effective mining here. This is a real disaster. It's gotten to the point where maybe he should consider building a colony. Yeah, I think at this point you can never engage there, but I don't know about that positioning. This is still a good positioning for Ruin. He's gonna love this. 2 versus 2, he'll take that. Ends up killing 1 zealot, and now the zealot went a little bit too far forward and will probably lose his life, but gets some effective trades there. Sunk in. Of course it's out of range, man. Nothing's going Saber's way. Meanwhile, in Ruin's base, wow, he's ramping up his gateway count really fast. Hydrogen, this is for lurkers. I like this follow-up. I think Ruin's build has been such a disaster from the get-go that you really got to go for something crazy. I guess this could also just be for mass hydras, you know, with speed and range. But I think lurkers, especially on this map, could be great. You can focus down that back building. Of course, they're not going to be taken down super fast. Maybe that will buy him enough time to get cannons up in position, but it's an interesting idea if that's actually what he's going for. But with more drones being built and a 5th hatch being built, we may not actually be seeing that. So at this point, if it is going to be just a normal Hydra 5 hatch play, I'm starting to be worried that Ruin's timing is just going to kill him. Is that a Spire? It's an Evolution Chamber. So there's no Spire just yet. The Corsairs are going to deal so much damage to the Overlords if he's been building. Even just a couple Corsairs, which it looks like he has. And Ruin's gateway timing is so quick this game. It was like a 6-minute 3 or 4 gate follow-up. And he's on the move. Yep, here he comes. And I don't know how you stop this army. It's 7 Zealots, 2 Corsairs. There's 3 Hydras. Am I looking at that correctly? 3 Hydras, no sunken. The Lings are, not that many either. The Zealots, do they have +1? Oh no, there's a gap on the left side. Great drone drill to buy some time. Actually, this is a really good drone drill. Maybe he can hold? Oh no, supply blocks coming in. Supply blocks galore going to be coming in. And at this point, this is all you're going to have. Saber, you've got to hold on for dear life here with just these 3 Hydras and drones. But it's just non-stop rallied Zealots across the map. Another Overlord's going to fall. He's perma-supply blocked at this point. And you got to imagine that this has got to be it. Just because Zerg can't build anything. He can literally build nothing to help him defend here, except for colonies, which he's not building. Finally out of supply block, but at this point he's at 26 supply. There's nothing you can do. Everything went wrong for Saber this game, and that means Ruin. He's going to easily game 1. And damn, Ruin made that one look real easy. And Saber, I guess he'll find solace in game 2 knowing that it's at least not a 2-player map. Probably doesn't have to open with a 9 pool. Maybe be able to get away with a 12 hatch, but that game definitely did not go according to plan. So let's get into game 2 now. It is once again going to be Apocalypse. And once again, We've got bottom left Saber facing off versus Ruin in the bottom right. And sometimes Produsk or PVZ can look like that for both sides. One player just gets a slight lead, compounds into a massive lead, and there was just no point in that game where you thought that Saber really had a chance. I think as soon as he tried to play a normal game, the chances of him winning was, you know, basically nil, like a really, really, really low percentage. I think he had to go for a Hail Mary there, whether it was lurkers or, you know, even something insane like transferring 6 drones down to bottom left or whatever it is to mine out that patch and just Ling Flood. But, you know, he would know better than I do. But definitely did not work out that time. We've got Ruin again. Okay, I thought he was actually going to go for Forge Expand since the probe came back to mine, but it does just alternate. And this is going to be a Gateway Expand. It's going to be a 9-gate. And he's looking to put some pressure on this time. And fortunately for Saber, he is going to be not first scouted, I don't think, unless the probe loops around for it. However, Saber ends up going for, this time around I think it was an overpool. A little bit better econ. And the probe is going to see the Overlord and will immediately turn around. Now, a couple of options for Ruin here. He could go, you know, 2-3 Zealots for Nexus. I've seen some players get crazy and go 1 Zealot into Nexus. I think with Apocalypse being not the greatest map for SimCities, more than likely we're going to see at least 2 Zealots, maybe 3. And Probe is going to confirm this is an overpool. Drone, is he going to have his third base denied again? Please no. Not like this. Alright, racking up some damage, but Zealot already on the way. Okay. Good damage so far. Does it create him enough space to put down the hatch? He only needs 40 more minerals. And I think he will be able to get it. There we go. Okay, Saber, here we go. We're in a real game this time. And Lings, I think the probe saw it. Uh-oh. Saber doesn't realize that this was a gate opener. I'm just now realizing that, and now we're getting into a weird situation where Saber built only 4 Lings. If these are drones, this could be catastrophic damage. Please not drones. I think these are actually Lings. Oh, they're drones! No! Not like this! This is so much damage. Goodbye, drone. Really good drone micro, but like, this is already such a huge win. 2 drones down. Zealot at the natural. It's not been taken down. Looks like the Lings got in, but it's hard to manage, you know, 2 positions like this and also manage your drone count. Meanwhile, Saber has built a lot of Lings now to defend. I think, oh no, I was gonna say I think he spent 100 gas, but he has not spent 100 gas. In fact, he hasn't even mined gas really until just now. Probe. Is he gonna sleep go? Oh, he gets one of them. That's nice. And we still have 2 Zealots out on the map. 3 Zealots on the map for Ruin right now. Probe has drawn the Lings completely out of position. The natural is under threat again. Ooh, almost gets a big shot there. Getting back into the sweet spot. Make sure he has a favorable engagement. Ruin is playing really, really well. He's disrupted the mining so badly. And Saber, what can you do? He's going to build more Lings because he has to. This is just such a hard position. The Zealots just get into the sweet spot behind the minerals, and it's like, well, they just trade so effectively every time. What can you really do as Zerg? The Zerg almost got a couple of Ling kills, but in the end, no probes fall. 2 more Zealots, actually. And I guess they finally got spotted, so they're going to be syncing up with the other two. And Saber knows that he's got to do something about these Zealots before they turn into 4, because once it turns into 4, you're in deep trouble. And they're just not able to trade well. Saber in his main, I'm hoping he has a lair coming. If he doesn't, speed should be... How does that Zealot actually damage to the mineral line? Oh no, he's losing drones into the third base. This is again just falling apart. Second drone falls. And at this point, I guess Saber's just going to have to all in again. I can't really see him transitioning. He's got his Spire coming. It's at a decent time relative to the Corsairs. Another drone falls. Man, this is just too easy. Well, I think that may be all she wrote for our third player. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see a lot of games from him. We only got to see 2 because he wasn't here on time for the first one. And these 2 games, unless there is some type of miracle, this is really setting up for another Ruin win. He's just dealt so much damage to the minerals, to the econ I mean. So many drones have died. The Lings may finally get a favorable engagement here, but even this isn't favorable. Really effective trades. And Preuss is already up 25 supply. He's got 3 more Zealots over here on the left side. They're going to get behind the minerals. No, they're not. Actually, really good drone drilling right there. Prevents him from getting into the mineral line. And okay, this is what Saber needed. Gets 3 Zealots pretty much for free. That was really nice. He definitely needed that to get back into this game. He's got a lot of drones. Got his 4th hatch coming up, 5th hatch. Probably going to be started pretty soon. But Corsair already out on the field. Gonna be looking for some tasty overlords, and there's the first one. Now, unlike last game, I was expecting Ruin to have more gateways down by now, especially with his probe count being as high as it is. But I think he's only on 2 gates. Not sure exactly where that scourge came from, but almost intercepts the Corsair. Ends up being able to get away, at least for now. But again, another 4 Zealot move out. I wonder if the +1 weapon upgrade is close to finishing. Because if it is close... Ooh, is he really going to get away? Look at him. He tries to tank one of the shots for the first Corsair to try and get away. And he is going to get away. I can't believe he got away. Now, during all that, the Lings thought that the Zealots were going to go to the natural. Instead, they go to the third base. And now, once again, getting behind the mineral line is Ruin. And we're getting at the point in the game where the Zealots are going to start getting +1 pretty soon. And then, really, the Lings can never trade. And that's why you see a Sunken coming down. Because I think he realizes that, hey, these Lings, or these Zealots... Actually, he canceled it. I was going to say, I think he realized that these Zealots are just doing way too much damage. He needs to have some support for the Lings. But this is a lot of Corsairs. He did not skip out on Corsairs at all. He's going to have 7 pretty soon, along with +1 weapon. And right now, to say the defense is skimpy is an understatement. Not only are there not very many Lings, there's no Sunkens, there's no Spores, there's 2 Hydras, if I saw that correctly, no Mutas. This, again, could just be never-ending supply blocks. It's 6 Corsairs. There's not that many units on the ground. It is just 6 Zealots, but they do have +1 weapon, and already Saber is supply blocked. This is not looking good. First hold already, okay, all of a sudden it's not looking that bad. But once again, he needs to have another miraculous hold here. I guess he is lucky in the sense that it is only 2 Zealots, but they still get through somehow. They cleared out all the Hydras. Corsairs are still running amok. They're looking for a juicy group of Overlords. Not able to find one. That's the blob he wants, right? Oh, he's found it. He's going to get all of them, man. All the Hydras moved into the third base to defend. And there goes, what was it, 6 Overlords, something like that. I think it was actually 5. They all die. Now this is a massive supply block. There's still not that many Zealots. It's just 3 in the natural, 1 in the main. But if you look at Ruin's main, he's got like 8 gates. The Corsairs have just done so much damage. I think he found another blob of Overlords over at the third base. Nope, actually he did not. He's retreating. Zealot in the main. No kills just yet. One drone. Two drones. Man. Just so much damage. Never like to see that red supply number in your Zerg. You just know that the game's gonna go downhill once that starts becoming red. And it is not only a 50 supply lead. Saber doesn't even have 50 supply total. He's down 22 workers. He doesn't have his +1 weapon. He doesn't have lurkers. He doesn't have sunkens. Another blob of overlords. At least he has speed on his overlords, so for now they'll be able to survive. But it's just a matter of time, I think, until Ruin gets enough zealots to feel confident about going for a killing move. Saber, this is probably the last, yeah, especially with Templars mixed in, this is going to be it. This is such a tiny choke. That is a huge storm. Hits a lot of drums and hits Hydras. And this is probably going to be all she wrote. There it is. GG comes out. And Saber didn't get to see much of him today. Obviously not his best showing. Sometimes that can just be how it is. In general, playing StarCraft, sometimes you're on your game, sometimes you're not, sometimes your opponent is just on fire, which Ruin was. And you can look kind of like a fool, and that's kind of just what happened. But I'm sure if Saber comes back for Season 3, he will have a much better showing. I know for a fact that Saber is definitely a very good player. That was not indicative of his skill level. But this does set us up for another TVP, man. It's going to be a rematch of Scan versus Ruin. This time around, it will be a best of 3. And we've got Dark Origin as our first map. Okay, this time we do have our Protoss in the top left. And in the bottom right, our Terran. It is Scan. Now, Dark Origin, a 2-player map. Any of you Terran players out there, you know the pain of playing a 2-player map. Having to deal with gas steel, having to deal with proxy gates, having to deal with forward gates, plus a nexus behind it. You know, all types of shenanigans that Protoss can come up with. Can also face 12 Nexus. You know, it's not as common, but sometimes players just go Pylon Scout, deal your gas, and then go immediate Nexus. I think that's a little risky, but, you know, Ruin, who does like to go Forge Expand, or at least used to in the past, gas steal Nexus versus cannons, that could be a great opener. And what is Scan going to do? As I stated in the previous match, boosting is a big deal these days. Will he boost and try and get an 11 gas? Will he put down a 10 racks? Will he just try and hold the ramp here and prevent this probe from getting in? And the answer is yes, he's going to hold the ramp here. And he's going to buy as much time as he possibly can. And look at this. He's going to go for gas plus? I thought he was going to go for gas plus racks at the same time, but ends up just going for gas and then a slightly delayed racks. Oh no. Pylon coming down, and that's going to really hurt. Now, from my experience, whenever I see this, it does kind of trigger alarm bells that, hey, this could be a proxy gate, but maybe the probe was so quick on the ramp that Scan already knows, like, hey, you can't possibly have proxied and had a probe here that quickly. So maybe he's not too worried about that, which is why we don't see him scouting. But either way, this probe has done a lot of damage. One of the SCVs is already down to half health. This is a forward gate. I would say this is the most common follow-up for Protoss on this map. We do have gas behind it, so it's not going to be a Nexus follow-up. Now, if you can get off another pylon block, that would be amazing. But doesn't actually find it. And Scan's still in the dark here. Doesn't know exactly what this is. No Zealot out just yet. I guess he can imagine that at least it's not proxied, because Zealot definitely should have been here by now. that forward gate zealot is going to be coming pretty soon. Interception on the bridge. And this is going to be kind of a tough hold for Scan because there's no SimCity to help support this factory. It's way far forward in relation to the barracks. I'm not sure if that's actually a forge or a cybernetics. You would imagine it's a forge, a cybernetics, but I don't know. Okay, SCV, really good micro right here. I think there's a gap. I thought there was a gap. I was like, that doesn't look zealot tight to me. But really good marine control there to limit the amount of damage. And that was a cybernetics, by the way. So he's not missing his tech at all. But 2 zealots on the field now. This is where it really gets hard to hold. He's got 4 marines. Okay. Okay, Scan, I see you. Really nice. Loses 2 marines for just 1 zealot. One of the other zealots is really heavily damaged. But with rallied zealots, there's another one going to be on the field or in his main pretty soon. And Vulture is going to be out pretty soon. So far, this looks like a really good hold from Scan. He does see range. He does see that there's no fast nexus. Overall, I think Terran's in a favorable position. He's up 1 worker, maybe 2. Unless he loses that SCV. But overall, this looks like a great hold. Now, it does come down to this. This is going to be 2 zealots, a goon, and both zealots have a decent amount of health. He really wants to get that damage zealot. He almost gets it, but the Marines are so weak at the front. They're so heavily damaged. Marines are doing a good job to damage the Dragoon, because that's really the main DPS versus the goon is the Marine. Is he going to hold it? He does hold it, and gets rid of all the zealots. Manages to save 2 marines. That's a good amount to save. Doesn't have to build any more. Also, while all this was happening, Ruin has been cutting probes because I saw Scan lose an SCV, yet he's still up 2. And I think generally Protoss wants to be at least even in workers. I know for a fact that when you do go for a forward gate like this, you're in general going to be down workers, but I'm surprised that it's, not just 1. Now look at this. Can you actually jump out this Vulture? I feel like someone in ASL attempted this multiple times and it ended up not working. Like, maybe it was Leda. But we've got 3 goon pressure on the bunker. That goon is really low. Almost loses it. He does jump out the Vulture, by the way. At least I think that's what jumped out. I guess I could be wrong. Yeah, there goes the Vulture. And this is a sneaky move. He knows that a Vulture was built, but he doesn't know that it's going to be snuck out through the backside. So he doesn't have anything on hold position there. Scan is going for, I think, the most common follow-up, which is straight armory. Goons getting back into position. Will it be in time? The answer is yes, but he's out of position. And Scan, he's going to get 1, maybe 2. 2? Definitely worth. Definitely worth. I don't think he ended up rushing mines. If he ended up rushing mines, then, losing the Vulture, not getting any mines down, that can be painful. But versus a forward gate, where they cut for this, and you get 2 probes, great. That's fantastic. Now, in response, Ruin has gone for Reaver, straight Reaver, in fact. I think this is a smart move. I think the chances of there being a need for the fast observer is not that likely. But that is a lot of tanks for Scan. This really does look like he's setting up for a push, but with a second factory, that's not really a common move. However, there is no eBay for Scan right now. That is a little surprising to me, that there's no eBay. I guess he's going to rely on Siege plus Goliath plus range and just try and hold all his positions here. And if he can skip out on eBay, well, that allows him to scale into the mid game really nicely. We got a depot towards the top side of his base. Get some vision. He's on the move. I can't believe he's on the move. This actually was Fire Mines as a follow-up. Oh my gosh, he picked off one of the goons immediately. Now, this is the bridge. Oh, a mine connects. This is devastating. Already losing 2 goons. Mine connects. A third goon is basically dead. He sees the Reaver, and now he's trying to just get to safety, I feel like. He's probably trying to bait this Reaver into mine. Okay, now he knows he's in a safe spot, so he is just going to... Okay, well, the Reaver's kind of in La La Land here. He's going to take some damage from the Marines. He can't go towards the natural, because if he goes towards the natural, Terran's going to immediately counterattack. So this is a rough situation for Ruin. He's going to put down a third Nexus. He's going to lose his scouting pylon. These ultras have speed, by the way. Oh, the Reaver doesn't fire! Okay, that was a big connection. I think there was full damage on one of them. Reaver gets unloaded. Oh, he gets immediately focused down. Where did all that DPS come from? Holy smokes. Vultures got more DPS than I thought. Tanks, all three of them are still alive. There is no SCV here to repair, though. If you remember, was it the Scan Royal series where there were a few tank battles? A single SCV ended up repairing. A great SCV repair here would be massive to heal up these hurt tanks. But instead, he's just pressuring it and will back off. There's no observer. Oh my gosh, a massive mine hit. Gets 3 goons. I think he was microing his Reaver while that was happening, which is why that actually ended up connecting. Now, these tanks are very juicy. They're so low. Another goon falls. Oh no! Another goon dies. He wants to get the Reaver shot because he knows these tanks are heavily hurt, but none of them are firing. The Reaver's just unloading and taking damage, not getting off any hits. And if you're Ruin here, you got to get something done. But everything's just so fortified. There's turrets set up now. Mines are set up. There's stuff still in the bunker, so the shuttle takes some more damage. And I cannot believe... Okay, I was going to say, I cannot believe that all 3 tanks got back safely. At least he gets one of them, but this was massive loss for Ruin. He's even in supply with a Terran who got away with 2 fact, fast armory, is now scaling into, I think, a 5 fact timing. He's got good worker count, took no losses, you know, in any of the mineral lines, killed a couple of pylons for free, killed so many goons. I mean, just an unreal amount of goons. What was it, like 6 goons he ended up killing? Just crazy damage. And if you're Scan here, you're probably feeling like, I can just end this guy. This guy has taken so many goon losses. For sure, I should be able to bust it. But 5 fact expand is very meta. Scan doesn't necessarily have to attack. He could just build an expansion. He could also flood more factories if he wants. And this Reaver is moving into position to prevent a 3rd base. But Scan's moving out. And these Reavers, they're not going to do anything. They're going to have to be picked up. And Scan's on the move again. He's already gotten across the hardest part, which is the bridges. Vulture's now moving back into position. Oh no, more goons dying. 2 more goons. Will he get anything? Okay, gets 3 vultures. That was nice. But it's still basically an even supply game. And this is Dark Origin, where it's really punishing attacking from the high ground on the 3rd base. We see some Zealots coming out. Not sure if he has speed just yet. But instead, Scan has got other things on the brain. He's decided that he's going to go straight through the center here. Reaver unloads. Now, this is double Reaver. Oh. Okay, there's a lot of goons. Did Scan overstep here? He's got kind of a tank way too far back. Yeah, this was a massive overstep. And Ruin, he's going to win this fight easily. That's exactly what he needed. Now Scan's down 40 supply. This was not the engagement that Scan was looking for. Reaver, 1 dies. But there's still just so many goons left over. Shuttle dies. Reaver dies also. Okay, I thought that just based on Ruin's luck this game, I thought that mine was going to connect and get like 3 or 4 more Dragoons. But he ends up not losing any additional goons. That was a massive loss for Scan. You can definitely believe he's thinking to himself, I should have just expanded. 100%. I should have just taken my win, getting so many kills, and taken another base. Because that was not the trade he was looking for. At least he got the shuttle and both Reavers. But now he's down 35 supply. Ruin has got a lot of momentum now. He can take his 4th base. I'm going to guess that Scan has built his command center. But it's not landed at the 3rd just yet. And the shuttle, I'm going to imagine it's for another Reaver. And because it's for another Reaver, I don't think... Okay, he's got double shuttle. Maybe it's not just another Reaver. Maybe this is Shuttle Man looking to jump on these tanks. Not a lot of good defense here. Okay, Zealot Bomb. Immediate unload. Ends up catching 2 tanks. That's nice. 2 tanks for a shuttle and a couple Zealots. Really nice. And that was a command center in Scan's main that has now been floated over towards the 3rd base. That will be up and running momentarily. And in Ruin's base, I think we just see more gateways. I don't think there's any building that looks like it's positioned for a Stargate. So I think this is just full-on Gateway Man. Maybe double Robo. Probably going to be a Storm upgrade as a follow-up. And Terran, because of how fast he got his armory, probably on 1-1. Just because that's the meta. Should have 2-2 coming probably pretty soon, but because he went for a timing, maybe it's not as far along as I thought. Either way, 3rd base up and running for Scan. He's closed the gap in terms of supply. It's just 16 now. I think if Ruin oversteps even once, that's going to allow Scan back into this game to get his 4th base. And you definitely don't want to allow Karen to get a 4th base easily, especially on Dark Origin where it's very easy to split. Now that's some good harassment. Another Reaver play from Ruin. Get some good damage done on the Vultures. Actually, there's a big fight at the 3rd base, but I feel like a lot of the defense is already over there. No, actually there wasn't. How much damage will actually get done? I don't know, but the Reaver is racking up a lot of kills at the natural. Curious what the kill count here is for the Reaver. I hope it's like, 20 or something. If he could get some SCVs, that'd be great. Damn. Lots of damage there. It doesn't look like he actually got that many SCVs because I see Scan still sitting pretty at around 55. But he's racked up so many Vulture kills. It's absurd how many Vulture kills he's gotten. Would really like to see an unload just so we can get a read. Oh, he's going to sack it. He wants those SCVs. That was juicy. He got like 4 or 5 there. Another one would be great. 17 kills on that Reaver man with about like 7 or so coming at the very end. Very, very worth. And that puts Ruin up about 50 supply. He's got his 4 bases. But Terran always really solid, even on just 3 bases. And with it being Dark Origin with the bridges, hard to attack across. With Protoss still just sitting on Gateway Man tech, I think Scan can definitely claw his way back into this game. Ruin acting like he's going to make another attack here. Now, he does have Storm, but this is kind of a tight area for Protoss, where it's not that tight of an area for Terran. This could be a meat grinder. Good Storm. It's a decent amount of the Vultures. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a smart move to back off. I think you just take your win with your Reaver. Sit on high ground here. Deny this Terran his 4th base for as long as possible and take the 5th yourself. I think this is the correct follow-up from Ruin. He's got bottom left coming up. He could even consider taking top right. Because if you start taking top right, it forces Terran to do something about it. Terran can't just camp and say like, okay, well, I'm going to play 4 bases versus 6. Like, that's just not a winning scenario for Terran. So I think Ruin should consider that. Take that base, force Terran to make a move. Terran is down 60 supply. Yeah, you need to run, Scan. You got to get out of here, man. Another Zealot Bomb. Oh, mine. Oh my gosh, we almost got a massive mine explosion there, but ends up not connecting. Zealots are not going to commit here. And this was a pretty sizable win there for Scan. He loses, what, 1 tank for 20 supply? Very nice. Still the majority of Ruin's army over on the right side waiting for Terran to move out of position. He sees him moving now. I wonder if he'll go attack third. The answer is not just yet. Terran has a fierce amount of tanks, and here he comes. Mines, a lot of them trigger on one single zealot. And Storm, where's the Storm? Dan scrambling to get back into position, needs some storms. If he can storm the mineral line, that would be fantastic. Great storms on top of the vultures. Doesn't really get that much connection onto the SCVs, but he gets rid of a lot of vultures here. And again, supplies go heavily down in favor of Ruin this time. He's now up 50 supply. And Ruin's just all over the place. On the right side, in the middle, expanding like crazy. Now that's a lot of tanks to defend now. In fact, I saw like a big shot go off and take off a clump of that big green blob on the right side. So down almost 20 workers. If we factor that into the supply, it's almost like Ruin's up about 35. Vessel out in the field. Vessel could be game changing. If he lands an EMP on the majority of this army, or hits a EMP on some of the Templars, well, we've got a massive Zealot bomb. Good storm. There's that's a lot of tanks, man. That is so many tanks. Storm hits the vessel, but I'm not sure you want to hit the vessel. Supplies really fall for both sides. It was a big swing. But Protoss still in the driver's seat. He's up 50 supply. I think Scan, he needs to do something. He's got to move on this 4th base if he wants to continue to play this game out. He did take heavy losses, but he didn't lose a lot of tanks. That's the key part for him, is he didn't lose a lot of tanks. And now Ruin, he's on the back foot. I mean, this is so many tanks. Loading up again for another drop. Okay, this is the moment that Ruin really needs to make work. The Vulture, there's not that many Vultures. He clutch D-Matrix, ends up fending off Protoss. Where's Protoss' supply? Protoss is at 160 supply, but his army's just tiny. Maybe he needs to consider moving those units from the right side over towards the left, because he cannot afford to lose the center and its 4th base. Another good storm coming down, kills one of the tanks. But now, Terran's on top of the 4th base. Like, probes are going to start dying now. There's still that D-Matrix tank. Terran has, you know, a decent army. It's not huge. 105 supply is not the biggest. But with +2 weapon, he can definitely trade effectively. I also don't see a single observer here. If Scan starts laying some mines, it's going to be really hard to engage into as Protoss. Now, there is not a lot of defense on the left side. Like, there's no mines over here. It's just isolated tanks. Okay, another engagement on the right side. I think Ruin, he's trying to draw units back so that he can pounce on this army on the left side. And that was not the greatest damage, but it does alleviate, you know, the pressure on the left side. Like I said, all the units moved out of position, and now Scan's scrambling to get back into position to try and defend. But he's going to lose his contain on the left side. Ruin ends up saving the space. He needed this. But Terran still has a lot. Templar gets sniped. Wow, that's a lot of storm. Oh, big mine connection. All the Templars died. This is a crazy game. This is a crazy game. It's now only a 30 supply lead for Protoss. Protoss has lost complete control over the left side. Terran's gonna kill this base. Protoss has looked like he's given up on defending this left side. He's now gonna counter. There's not that many mines set up here. There's no turret either. But honestly, Protoss' army is not really scary. Okay, it's gonna still force a liftoff though. I guess he's worried about the storm. Oh, Templar. Good storm. He's gonna kill all these tanks. Scan is gonna kill bottom left though, so he's gonna kill 2 bases. Scan's basically not mining though. Like, this was a massive win for Ruin. Ruin actually has top right up and running. I didn't even realize that he has this up and running. So he should be able to take this game. Like, right? Like, you feel like he has to be able to take this game. Scan's not mining. He's down 50 supply. Ruin's still on 2 base mining. Terran's army is still really strong. But don't know. Yeah, look at that. He's mining one patch right now. That's it. Absolutely no income for a scan. He's now got his third base resaturated. Critically, he got rid of both of the bases at the left side, so I guess he still has like a fighting chance. But this is so hard. There has to be a catastrophe for Ruin to throw this. Okay, solid bomb with all the tanks. I think this may be it. I think the supply gap is just too huge. All of the SCVs are going to die. There it is. GG comes out from scan. It looks like he's trying to counterattack top right. I think that's kind of his only option because I don't think he could have stopped this army. Protoss would have continued to just mine and mine and mine. So Ruin, he's going to take game 1 here. That's going to put him 1 game away from getting out of this group in first place. I thought for sure Scan had that game, especially after the opener, where he killed so many goons. Didn't he kill the first Reaver also with the vultures? Just unreal damage. But Ruin had a massive hold. I can't remember exactly how he held it, but ends up taking that game because of the hold. So let's get into game 2. Once again, we've got Apocalypse. And this time, I think this is the first game we've had somebody spawn at top middle. We've got Ruin in the top, and in the bottom left, we do have Scan here. Now, if I was Scan, I think I would try and play the same thing that I just played, which is this 2-fact timing. Protoss took a lot of damage to it. Maybe instead of going for the 5-fact follow-up, go for a killing move. Maybe just expand behind it. But, you know, Apocalypse is a little bit different than Dark Origin. A little easier to attack on. Maybe he can find success with it if he does try it again. Is it going to be forward pylon? No. It's not going to be forward pylon. I think this could be a 12 Nexus game from Ruin. I think that would be a good strategy. I think the likelihood of Scan going for, like, you know, BBS or something, or thinking that it's 12 Nexus is kind of low. If I was Scan here, I would be expecting it to be another forward gate. But it is not going to be a 12 Nexus. It is just going to be a normal gate timing. And we should see the gas coming down pretty soon. And in Scan's main, there's the racks. And this should be an 11 gas. Nope, it's not. It's going to be a 12 gas. So once again, another 12 gas opener. Interesting, because I really do see 11 gas quite often these days, but Scan wants to have a little bit better eco. And maybe with that little better eco, they'll use that to get into a faster 2-fact or something. I wonder what that money will be spent on. You know, we haven't seen any starport play. I think starport play on Apocalypse is also very strong. You have a lot of positions that you can proxy it. You can proxy it at top right. I've seen players proxy it at the other main, natural. You could put it in between the natural and third base like Royal did on Apocalypse. And I think Apocalypse has such a good, you know, such a huge main that starport could definitely be a smart move. And Scan, okay, for a second with that SCV going out, I was like, is he proxying a factory? There's no way, right? But not the case. It is just going down in the main, and this is a double scout. Okay, maybe he's hiding something. No, it is legitimately just a double scout. He's going to see the probe over here on the right. Not going to see the zealot move out. That's a little unlucky. And he has no idea that this zealot actually snuck out. And remember, in the first game between these two, Scan ended up only going 2 Marines. And that's exactly what we see here. Probe pokes in. And I love it. I love what Ruin's doing here. He's hiding the hidden zealot. Trying to say, like, oh, I only have 1 goon, but actually he has the zealot and a goon, and this could be devastating damage. Luckily for Scan, he's at least, oh, actually he built 3 Marines, and he's building a 4th. He must suspect something's up. He even pulls off an SCV. What? How does he know? Did he see it? I don't think he had vision of it. But this was the correct response here. He's got enough DPS for the goon. He's got enough DPS for the zealot. This is really good defense. This was a really good read from Scan. This is exactly what he needs to do. And he doesn't lose anything. I mean, he lost one Marine, but who cares about that? I can't see in Scan's base. He hit the dreaded 26 out of 26. I just hit that yesterday in the BSL games. I can tell you, Aaron is not happy about that. There is another engagement. I can't believe that Ruin actually went for that. But he does get rewarded. He takes down 2 Marines, and he's going to get the Vulture. That was really, really good for Ruin right there. He trades some shields, of course, but Preuss will take that trade any day of the week. And now with only 2 Marines loaded up in the bunker, not that I expect this to happen, but 2 Marines, not that much DPS. We could have a run by. We could channel our inner Ghost Arc here. Instead, it is just going to be the 3 goons ranging the bunker, force out a lost mining time with the repair, and then also delaying the command center. Really good damage from Scan, or from Ruin. Now remember what I was saying about the SCV to Proton last game on Dark Origin. Look at the supply, look at the difference here. Ruin was down 2 workers, now he's up 2 workers. So, you know, a 4 worker difference this time. If Ruin can win the last game, you gotta imagine that now with worker advantage and delayed command center, he's in a prime position to take game 2. It is going to be a fast second factory follow-up. I didn't notice an armory. I don't think Scan could afford an armory and double factory, so I'm just gonna discount that. I think this is just a normal 2-fact. And will he go for a timing here, or was this just to get like vulture speed and mines? You know, try and get some mines out on the map, but with multiple tanks to help, this does seem like it's going to be a push. How many tanks? Okay, it's going to be 3 tank push. I don't think he's built more Marines than that one. That means this should be a 3 tank, 3 Marine, I guess 3 vultures rallied across the map, try and hit before observatory. Maybe not though, because we only see 1 vulture moving out right now. I did notice that the robo was like a 430 robo, which, you know, maybe there was an opportunity to attack. But as I say that, the observer I can see is syncing up with the goons right now. And it looks like this was a smart move to not attack here, because there really was no moment of opportunity. And Ruin, is he going to put down a 3rd Nexus? Right now, he's gone into 3 gates, so he suspects that a timing is coming, and he's right. And I feel like this is the perfect counter here. He's got 3 gate goon versus a 2-fact. Terran has, you know, a decent amount of tanks, but it's Apocalypse. You're attacking uphill. The only way I can see Protoss not winning this attack is if there's some type of massive mine connection, but a tank gets immediately blown up. Mine gets picked off. Yeah, there's so many goons here, you gotta turn around. Smart move to turn around here. Maybe Scan can like run some vultures into the main or something, but instead he's gonna try and fight. The observer here is going to be the lifeline, make sure that none of the goons hit a straggler mine. And this did not work out at all. Lost 2 tanks. Did he even kill that many goons? I think that was actually the first goon that died, or maybe the second goon. Oh no, oh no! Okay, big hit there. Where's the observer? Looks like it was just out of position slightly. So I guess he does get some damage done. Okay, Siege. Do not commit, Ruin. Do not commit. That's going to be gifted goons if you commit. And like I was saying, maybe Scan can just run by some vultures. That's what he's trying to do. He's going to see that the 3rd base is really late. He'll be feeling okay about that, but not going to be able to get into the natural. And what's the follow-up going to be? Common follow-up these days is to go at least 4-fact. Try and take your 3rd base. He's gone into double add-on. Interesting. So he really wants to ramp up that tank count. And gonna have some defensive mines in the main. Try to hope for a lucky connection there. Take down the Reaver. Third base up and running now for Ruin. He's got a decent supply lead. It's still just 20, so it's not, you know, massive, but definitely considerable. Reaver on the way, and there is the fourth fact, like I was saying. Now Scan, what can he really do in response to this? He could try a timing, but I think it's going to take him so long to ramp up his tank count that maybe you don't want to go for that. Maybe you want to go for the third base. Maybe he felt like he took so much damage that he can't take a third base, and instead we'll try and make a timing work. We'll wait and see what he opts into, but I think the go-to here is try and camp it out, try and get a third base up and running. If Ruin attacks into you, you know, Apocalypse can have some good positioning where you spam mass depots at your third base, create like a semi-wall there, and you can trade it very, very effectively, even from a massive deficit. Shuttle tried to get in, but doesn't find an opportunity there. There's the fifth fact. And I saw Armory was spinning, so +1 should be on the way or pretty soon to completing. Comsat's coming in for Scan. And okay, I thought that may actually be a sixth factory, but it is just another turret. And at this point, if there was a timing, that timing is come and gone. Preuss just has a massive supply lead. He's up 40 supply. I think your only option here is to expand at this point. Hope for Preuss to have a poor trade, get onto your high ground, and take your fourth base. And you can see Scan being very cautious to move his tanks over into position. Still no command center just yet. And he does get the tanks over there. Still a 40 supply advantage though for Ruin, so you still need to be very careful. If Ruin had speed right now, like speed on his Zealots, I think he would just run it and try and end it. But with the Citadel just finishing, you know, seconds ago, it's going to be a little bit far away for that to complete. But there were no mines. Scan definitely needs to get some SimCity set up here because he's not going to be able to hold an incoming bust while attacking from low ground if he doesn't have SimCity to help him. Instead, Ruin is opting in for a double shuttle. Gonna go straight into the main. Or no, he's not. What's he want to do? Indecisive here. And command center going down for Scan. So he is gonna try and camp it out. I don't really see any angle of attack for Ruin at this point. I think Scan is too fortified, so I like that he ends up just going into defensive posture here. Or containment, I mean, with the Reaver and the Goons. Double Robo. Ruin really wants to get Shuttle Man on the field. Go for some non-stop harassment. It can be really hard to stop. But it can also be, you know, big losses really quick for Protoss if it does get shut down. You know, even if you just have 4 Zealots loaded up, that's 10 supply immediately. And if you have like 3 or 4 shuttles and they get blown up quite quickly, you know, immediately that's 30 to 40 supply down the drain in a heartbeat. This is 3 shuttles. There are some turrets, but not that many. There are mines everywhere though. No Goliath. Does unload. Good mine connection right there. Reaver unloads. Okay, that's nice. Will he get... Thought he was going to get some SCVs, but actually didn't get that many SCVs. One of the Reavers is really low. But not being able to get taken down. These Reavers, they're doing work. Killing so many Vultures here. Damn. Ruin crushing it. Up 60 supply now. He's on 5 bases. I thought one of the Reavers were really low, but they're not. Okay, maybe an overstep there. We'll end up losing his 2 Reavers, but that was definitely worth. Killed a lot of stuff in general. Also, I think that building at the bottom left of Scan's base was a starport. That means that starport's not even done. +2 vests or +2 weapon Not on the way anytime soon. And he killed like how many vultures? Maybe at least 10? Definitely at least 10. He did a lot of damage there. Now, because he went double robo, you know, he's not like scaling into carriers, right? Where Terran feels obligated to attack. It is going to be more drops into the main. He's going to take down some tanks. It's the Goliath also. Okay, he's just going to sack the Reaver and these Zealots. But what I was going to say is, with it not being, you know, like late game tech, there is a world where Scan could hold this. But as I say this, shuttling and goons, I don't know about this. This is a lot of stuff. Reaver gets sniped down. These Zealots are still alive. Still doing a lot. Wow, he's continuing to send in dragoons here. This is crazy. He has 10 goons in the main versus just 2 tanks. Damn, did Ruin really do it? Like, Scan's not really mining. Not mining his main, I mean. Scan is down 70 supply. I would really love for Ruin to just run into the third base now. Like, you've dealt a lot of damage in the main. You know that there's a lot of defense in the main. Go to the open, natural, or third base. Don't try and shuttle in here again. I feel like the tanks will probably clean up a lot of the drop. Instead, Scan's on the move? What? He's got a massive tank count. Okay. Ruin's in here again. Hopefully these are Zealots and Reavers, but there's some goons mixed in. They get blown up immediately. The Zealots are going to die. Also, this was not a good drop. This is not going to do that much damage. And there's a massive amount of tanks now. These are completely isolated tanks. This is dangerous, to say the least. These are so expensive. And you know the guy has 4 shuttles. If there's Zealot bombs here, you got to imagine that the tanks are going to splash each other to death, right? There's one. Wow. Scan's so quick here to reinforce it. Wow, he has so many vultures. Where'd they come from? So many of them died to the Reaver. I thought for sure he wouldn't have that many vultures. But here he is with 1,000,000 vultures. Oh my god. Massive hits. And what was a 70 supply lead is now 20. Terran has his main up and running now. How many factories does he have? Like 6 factories? Lots of production capabilities. I can't believe what I'm watching. Scan with an insane move here. Kills this base. Protoss is letting this game slip away here. He's still on 4 bases. He's getting his 5th base up and running at bottom right. But now Terran's even in workers, even in supply. Didn't lose that many tanks. The vulture count is absurdly high. The tank count is also pretty damn high. What is it, 10 or so? And you gotta remember, Protoss, even though they have a lot of shuttles, well, shuttles don't attack. Like, it's not necessarily dead supply, but that's a lot of supply. That's 5 shuttles there, and I don't even think that's all the shuttles. I think he has 2 more. He has 7 shuttles. That's 14 supply. 1,000,000 mines being set up in the main. Holy, is he gonna counter top left, and we're gonna have a counter drop at bottom right? Goliath here to hold the line. Okay, Templar, where's the storms? Ooh, huge hit. But Terran's already on Protoss' doorstep. This is going to be the third base being killed. Natural might be killed. If there are SCVs here for turrets, the shuttles are going to have a hard time making anything happen. Protoss is contained now. Protoss is still up 30 supply. Oh my gosh. Scan, did he really bring it back? Terran has almost no workers, by the way. He's at 34 workers. Oh, that Templar must have gotten off a few more kills. This was really well done from Ruin, making the game crazy. But Scan, what a comeback here. Can he actually get the killing move here? I mean, he's right on Protoss' doorstep. But with Protoss having top right and bottom right up and running, Protoss still has income. There's another storm that goes off. Tons of storms going off, by the way. And these Zealots and Templars looks like... Oh no, they're not going to get cleaned up. I thought they would get cleaned up. Double rate. He's had enough of these shuttles. He's saying, I've had enough. Wants to take them out. These Templars going to get taken out. 31 workers for Scan. 39 for Protoss. Terran still technically has 3 bases potentially mining. This was a ton of damage. Now, Terran's on the move towards top right. Terran doesn't have that many mines set up outside of out of Ruin's base, but Ruin doesn't know about that, so he's not able to get all of his units into position. These goons are completely open. Are these dead? Half of the goons have died. Now Protoss is moving to, or Terran's moving to top right of Protoss. Protoss is basically not mining bottom right. There's only 5 probes mining over there. This is basically the only mining base of Protoss. Protoss is just going to counter. I don't see him moving over to top right. Is this it? Is this how it ends? Oh my, look how many tanks there are. How did he build this much stuff? Protoss is going to counter, but there should be a lot of mines. Okay, there's not that many mines, actually. But the Terran army is huge. This entire Protoss Nexus probe line got killed. Zealots are going to die to these tanks and bunker. I think Scan won this game. His army is just massive. I just don't see how you kill his army. That's the thing. I don't see how the army dies. Protoss is down workers now, 36 to 28. SCVs are pulled, but they're not going to lose their lives. This base should be held. The goons need to focus down this command center. They got to get rid of the command center. Maybe he can come back if he can kill the command center. You limit the amount of mining. The Templars got intercepted in the middle of the map. There's 2 Wraiths here. Storm. Doesn't get off the storm. I can't even believe this game. Protoss was up 70 supply. Yet Terran's the one that makes the timing and attack work. How does that possibly happen? These are all dead. Zealot unloads, gets blown up immediately. This shuttle's gonna die. Goodbye. At least he gets off the Templar. Past the storm. But Protoss is down 15 supply now. Terran saved their 3rd command center. Terran's basically not mining. But it doesn't matter. How do you kill this army? Protoss, is he long distance mining is natural? No, he's just all in here. He's not even long distance mining his nat. This is going to be the final attack here. It's going to be, what, 2 Templars, 7 Zealots, 2 Goons, and a Dream? I don't see an Observer here either, by the way. And with no Observer, that means that Terran, oh my gosh, huge mine hits, goodbye. He just taps that Ike. This was an unreal comeback from Scan, absolutely unreal. I would have bet 100 to 0 that there was no way that Scan could have won that game. 100% I was going with Ruin taking that series. But now, it's going to be 1-1. Scan has new life. If you're Scan here after winning that game, you got to feel like you've just won the lottery, because he should have been blown out of the water there. Really, really amazing comeback there. I don't know how he built so many tanks, man. How did that happen? So let's get into game 3 now. We're going into our final game of the day. It is going to be retro between Ruin and Scan. Okay, in the top left, letting that one slip away, I think, we do have Ruin. And in the bottom left, once again, we have our Terran. It is Scan. And is it finally time for the 12 Nexus? Could it finally be time for 11 gas or, starport play? Scan got good scans, got good spawns again for it. Retro, another map that has huge bases, tons of area for you to drop in. Will Ruin go for a forward pylon, put some more pressure on? The answer is going to be no, as the probe did not move out. Is just going to be an in-base pylon. And last game we saw Scan go for an interesting double scout. Maybe that's an Apocalypse specific thing where there's only 2 possible positions, of course. So you delay the scouting as long as possible and make up for it with a double scout. And Ruin, okay, it is going to be Gateway. I had hopes that it was going to be a 12 Nexus, but not going to be the case. And I think maybe Ruin, even though he's had like success in the early game, right? You know, the double Robo hasn't really, like, okay, yes, it got a lot of damage in the main, but what I mean is maybe don't stay on double Robo so long. Maybe if you get damage like that, start scaling into, you know, higher tier tech. We haven't really seen any high tech at all. There was no Arbiter, there was no Carrier. We saw Templars, but you know, in general, there wasn't even that many Templars. I think in the majority of the battles, there was only like 2 or 3 Templars. Maybe Ruin should consider going into, you know, a different type of tech if we actually get into a late game play. Now, Scan is actually going to be the one that mixes it up this time. It is going to be a gasless opener from him. Going to have that 15cc coming in. And, okay, it's going to be 16cc, I guess. He's going to be a little cautious here. Builds a Marine, since he is in the dark. But no SimCity at his natural, no SimCity at his barracks. But he does get lucky that there is no Zealot Pressure. Zealot Pressure is the counter to gasless. You can force the Terran to build so many Marines, you know, cut a lot, pull SCVs off the line, really delay their factory, really delay their power spike. But unfortunately for Ruin, that will not be a potential for him. And Ruin didn't even scout until just now either. And the reason he's not scouting is because he's going for a rangeless expand himself. So both players opening kind of greedily here. If this was a factory opener, I'm sure Scan would have pulled for this, assuming he had scouted him. But look at this, Scan actually got unlucky here because he went for the cross scout. He's going to find Ruin last. If he had done the typical end scout, he would have found him second. But not gonna get any luck this time. Factory gonna be coming down for Scan. It is a 3 Marine gasless expansion this time, and Ruin's gonna see the bad news that, hey, this guy's already got his command center completed. He is not happy about that. And I wonder what Ruin's response will be. Will he try and put down a fast third base? Will he still continue to skip range and go straight into Robo? Nope, he's got range coming. And, okay, there's the Robo. It is still going to be a fast Robo, but not super mega fast. Robo on the ramp, trying to intercept that SCV. Unfortunately, he pulled off at the wrong time, as the SCV, I think, is now going to get in now. Luck is on Scan's side this game, and he will get to see everything. He's going to see that this core is still spinning. That's going to signal to him that this was a rangeless expand. He's going to see the Robo. Literally sees everything. And Scan, what is his follow-up going to be? You know, his 3-fact build was really successful. I think he should consider going for that once again. You see that it's going to be fast Robo. It worked out really well the first time on Retro. Maybe you can make it work once more. But so far, we only see 2 factories. Oh, something went down in the natural. Is that an eBay? Or is that a hidden third fact? I think that could be a hidden third factory. Nope, an eBay. Okay. Now, range command just going to get a little harassment done. You can see Scan putting down a depot on the outskirts of his base. Wants to get intel from as far away as possible, or when that incoming shuttle does eventually hit. And with double add-on, you got a couple of options here. You could go into heavy tank production, you know, 3-5 tanks and go for a push. You could also go into straight upgrades, both mines and speed. We'll have to see which one Scan opts into. So far, can't really tell. Scan has a lot of gas. Okay, double tank. So it looks like it is going to be heavy tank production. I see 2 more rounds of 100 gas just got spent. Maybe it was just 1. He does have his nat gas already up and running, and it's been mined for quite a long time. Oh, actually unloading in the main. He wants to get a scout off and see what this is. Well, I have to say, I don't think I've ever seen this. There's no armory, so the shuttle can't be killed. And he can just pick off a couple of SCVs for free? Wow, that was nice. As an observer, I liked it. As a Terran player, I hope that nobody does that on the ladder to me. I don't think I really have to worry about that happening because I don't really play gasless that much. But that was slick. Very nice. Now, he's going to have a move out here. But there's 7 goons. Really good control from Ruin. Ends up losing one of the goons. Takes down all the Marines. Takes down all the Vultures. Vultures have not gotten down any mines really just yet. Tank survives. But I think the bunker's completely open now. Like there's nothing in there. Oh, what? He loses all the tanks except for one. Ruin? I think you take your win here and back off, man. Take the win and back off. He wants that tank, though. He gets it. Does trade a goon, though. That was really nice from Ruin, evening up the worker discrepancy. He now has worker lead. He now has a pretty damn big supply lead, 74 to 52. He's taking his 3rd Nexus. I think he also kept his shuttle alive, right? Like, I don't see how Marines could have possibly killed that shuttle. Yeah, there it is. He should be able to have Reaver out on the way pretty soon. And now, once again, we've got Scan kind of on the back foot, but with a gases opener, he'll be able to ramp up his production pretty quickly because of all of his big econ. In Scan's main, I see a building that kind of looks like it should be a factory. Yeah, it's going to be 4th factory coming in for him. His army did complete during all that. Should have +1 coming. And looks like we're going to be going into most likely a normal... Oh, 5 fact, okay. You can say we're going to be going into a normal game. Now, once again, this could be for timing. Could just be for an expansion. And it is a Reaver, alright. Turret is completely open, though. Gonna snipe that turret. Oh, big shot. I think Reaver took a normal shot and a siege mode shot. Zealot, will it get the Reaver? No, it does not. Or get the tank? It does not. Turret ends up falling, but does not want to commit with this shuttle anymore. I think the Reaver took 2 massive hits. I think that is a smart move to just back off. And Scan with his 5-fact production. I don't see Command Center just started just yet. He does have a lot of money for it if he wants to get it. Comsat's coming down for him. He still doesn't know what Ruin is doing. And he'll see once again it is going to be Gateway Man. This time, not as many gates. Only, what is it, 6 gates at around the 10-minute mark. Ruin's production kind of looks like it's not as far along as I was expecting. But his worker count is quite far along. It's sitting at 62. Pretty much all you need for the rest of the game. Would really love to see some more gates. Templar Tech, Forge, get your upgrades going. 2-1 versus 2-1. Protoss 2-1, I mean, is really good versus Terran's 2-1. So I think you should definitely consider scaling into that as fast as possible. Reaver is shuttle is sharking around looking for another drop. Something to point out is this time around, the shuttle does not have speed. Oh my gosh, he almost lost his Reavers. Another mine connection puts one of the Reavers massively down. Is he in range? Is he in range? No, just barely out of range. That could have been devastating if those 2 Reavers got sniped. I still don't see a command center for Scan. This could be a timing. He may actually try and make a timing work. And there he goes. This is a lot of tanks, a lot of Goliaths. He's got how many Goliaths? Oh. Oh no. No, not like this! Snipes the Reaver. And he's gonna lose the shuttle? Almost loses the shuttle in addition to losing the Reaver. He's on the move, man. He's within 20 supply. We don't even know if Protoss has speed on his Zealots. If the Zealots don't have speed, his army is kind of just worthless, really. He's going to have to rely on pure goon at that point, and pure goon is not going to beat this army. Massive siege up. Gets 2 goons as they retreat. This is a lot of stuff. Scan is not full all in here, though. He's got his double armory. He's got science facility already done, so he's got 2-1 coming. Okay, he's committing. I still don't see a command center. He is now down 35 supply. But the Protoss army is just not that big. Like, it's not the greatest. It looks pretty weak, really, especially without much detection here. Another random pylon is going to get blown up. Scan's already at his 3rd base. He let Scan already get to the 3rd base. Okay, this is a smart move. I was about to say this. I think Ruin should consider counterattacking. He knows the entire army's out of position. There's not a lot of mines here. In fact, there are no mines here. There's only 2 tanks. He's got speed on his zealots. Can he get on top of the zealots? Or the tanks, I mean? He gets on top of them. Good mine shot, or good tank shots. There are no mines. There's really not a lot to help defend here. Big shot there from the mines. Goons. Well, Terran's not even turning around. Terran's just going for it. We got full on base trade. And that's going to be lost. Zealots are in the main, though. SCVs need to desperately hold the line. All the Zealots ended up dying. I think Scan may actually be able to hold. Ooh, Zealots actually get into the main. Clutch repair on that tank. Look at the SCVs repairing it. Nat is going to be gone for Protoss. Protoss needs to start spamming DTs, man. You got to get DTs out. You got to channel your inner mini here. The game is so chaotic. You got to just try and make it wild. Instead, it's all Templars and Zealots and Goons, and I don't think that's going to win the fight. Tanks are in the 3rd base now. This base is dead. Terran held. Terran actually held. Factor in the worker differential, 16. Terran's even in army value. I imagine that these Goons are going to die here at the natural. Protoss lost their nat and 3rd base, and Protoss still has mid-right, but this is starting to look like the Apocalypse game, where he had a big army, but his army just doesn't fight well versus Terrans. Like, there's still no DT, not a single DT built this game, even though there was chaos going on. There's the DT, 1 DT being built, but I don't think Protoss has the army anymore to win. Terran's tank count is huge still. Like, critically, did the +2 not? No, the armories are still spinning. So Terran's gonna have +2 in a second if they don't have +2 already. There's the DT. Get in there, boy. Get some good swipes off. Protoss is looping around trying to find the angle. Not able to find it just yet. DT still doing damage. There you go. There you go. Get in there. Okay, 1 tank for 1 DT. Okay, Terran is massively split. This might be what Protoss wants. Yes, massively split army. Shuttle does not get picked off. Zealots unload, but they unload next to the vultures. They get eaten up. All the goons are isolated. They're gonna get blown up by these tanks. Good storm on the right side. Ruin is now down in supply, and it looks like Gan may have pulled a miracle out of the hat once again. He's gonna ransack this probe line. Protoss has not retaken his natural, so he's completely all in here. Meanwhile, Terran is scrambling to reinforce with vultures across the right side of the map. There's not that much for Terran, though. There's 3 tanks, 3 Goliaths, a couple of vultures. Yeah, the vultures are going to come in through the backside. That's not enough. And with this base falling, Protoss is going to be mined down in their main in just a moment. And there it is, GG. Scan with back-to-back comebacks here. The Apocalypse game was an unreal comeback. Here, a little bit closer. I liked Ruin's counterattack. I would have loved it more if he could have mixed in a DT like Mini. Sniped the comsats. Maybe he could have used those to hold. But either way, these were great games to end on. And of course, I am happy to see Scan make it out. A little bit sad about Ruin's, loss here because it looked like he was going to win the series 2-0, but unfortunately, he will be knocked out. So congrats to Scan and Royal for both making it out of their group. This was definitely a tough group. We're going to look at the match result from today. As we know, Saber versus Royal didn't happen because Saber did not actually show up. Then Ruin versus Scan. Scan got the win. Royal versus Scan in the winners match ended up being a 2-0 for Royal, but those were really good games, really close. And then of course Ruin kind of just obliterated Saber. Saber was just not on his game today. Just happens. And then Scan versus Ruin. Scan wins 2-1, but really I think Scan got lucky here. It should have been a 2-0 for Ruin, but Scan had a miraculous comeback, so well done for him. And that is going to be it for Group F, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in Group G. Of course, if you like the content coming out from StarCast TV, consider becoming a Patreon supporter or direct support through PayPal or YouTube. We appreciate it so much so that we can continue to run the channel. Once again, look forward to seeing you in Group G, and I'll see you soon.